Alright, back here with our blue-white tempered steel deck in Modern. This hand is actually pretty sweet. Double Dark Steel Citadel guarantees we're going to have some highly protected Etch champions. Also a Signal Pest isn't bad. What are we up against? Something with Delver. Island, Delver, go. Alright, so we are going to... I think we're going to lead on Dark Steel Citadel into Signal Pest. That way next turn we can play a second Citadel and the Frogmite. And then after that we can start playing the Etch champions. Does our opponent flip? He flips a Delver with a Remand. Not bad. So it looks like maybe Grixis Delver. Blue-red Delver. Some kind of Delver. Gitaxian Probe from our opponent gets a peek. Their opponent leave up Remand, or does he try to play something? Alright, gonna leave up Remand. So now we will play Dark Steel Citadel, play a second Signal Pest, and play a Frogmite. Our opponent probably wants to wait and start remanding Etch champions. That's a pretty threatening spell. Bolt on the Frogmite, okay. So our opponent has Remand and 2 unknown cards. And active Delver. Plays a Mountain. So it might be just straight blue-red Delver. Hits us down to 14. Ooh, Vault Scourge isn't bad either. Alright, we are going to attack with our Signal Pest, get in there for 2. And then I'm pretty sure that our Delver is going to get remanded. Or our Etch champion is going to get remanded. Play the Blink Moth for next turn. Etch champion, yep, meets a remand. So we'll pass back. Next turn we can Etch champion plus Vault Scourge. Our opponent has a Swift Spear. Oh, so he's playing an Agarwee version of Delver. Etch champion will do a good job of shutting down the Swift Spear. Assuming we get to it. Or get it to resolve, rather. Bolt from our opponent. Kills one of our Signal Pests. Hits us for 5. If our opponent's last card is a counterspell, that's pretty bad. So we'll go Island into Etch champion. Does he have another counter? No counter. Alright. And then also cast the Vault Scourge. Pass the turn back. No sense in attacking yet. So we're going to drop to 4. Telling time, okay. So we drop to 4 and hope our opponent doesn't have double burn spells. We could jump with the Vault Scourge on the Delver, but I think the Vault Scourge is more valuable attacking than blocking, but maybe that's just not true. I mean, we definitely block Swift Spear with Etch champion. Well, he doesn't have double burn spells. What does he have? Searing Blaze. Yep, alright. So we are going to drop to 1. Not great. Opponent's going to throw his Swift Spear in there for no real reason. Let's see what we can draw. Ornithopter is actually not bad. Alright, so we can play our Glacial Fortress. Play another Etch champion. Play an Ornithopter. And then how do we attack here? We do need to start killing our opponent. So we die to a burn spell no matter what. If we attack with Blink Moth or Signal Pest, basically if we attack with anything except one Etch Champion. Well, we can attack with one Etch Champion, puts him to 12. Next turn, if we attack with everything, we hit for 6, 7, 8. Oh, man. I think we gotta go aggressive here and hope he draws a Delver or land. If we attack with Blink Moth, Signal Pest, and Etch Champions, we get in the maximum amount of damage. Puts our opponent to 9. Next turn, we can hit for 8. So I guess that still doesn't get us there quite. So maybe that was wrong. Because we're going to have to chump with Ornithopter regardless. I guess our opponent could leave back the Delver, but that doesn't seem great either. If we draw a Cranioplating, we just win. Attacks with Delver. I'm guessing he drew nothing because I think he would have cast it. Springleaf Drum. So I guess we attack with Etch Champion and Signal Pest. Puts our opponent down to 6. No reason to play the Springleaf Drum. Might as well make our opponent guess. Now we try to chump with Blink Moth, block with Etch Champion, and win on the backswing. And our opponent drew nothing, and we got there. Sweet. That was close. So sideboarding against red, blue, blue-red Delver. Do we want anything? Yeah. Let's run it back. One land. Well, I think since we have Springleaf Drum, this is a keep. We can Blink Moth, Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter. Now if we draw another land, we're to Etch Champion and Frogmite. There's Mr. Delver. We erased it last time. He flipped it on turn 1 and we erased. So Ornithopter, Memnite, Springleaf Drum. So now, a White Source or a Springleaf Drum means we get to start casting Tempered Steels, which is pretty big game. No blind flip this time from Delver. If we don't draw land, we can at least cast a Frogmite next turn. There's Young Pyromancer. No attacks. What do we draw? Oh, it's tapped. Alright, so we will tap our Blink Moth, play a Frogmite. Ah, that tap Glacial Fortress gets me every time. I think we're going to swing with Memnite. If he wants to trade with either of his creatures, that's fine with me. Now we're hoping our opponent keeps tapping out and we can start resolving spells that are a really big game. No flip, like that. Let's see what our opponent has here. And if that was an untapped land, if that was a Hollowed Fountain, or even just a basic Plains, that is. Last turn would have been pretty nuts. Our opponent is casting a Swift Spear, a double Swift Spear, okay. So we're going to take no damage. Well, I think now we are pretty clearly going to resolve this our first Tempered Steel, which pumps up our team quite a bit. Also get to play at Memnite for free. Do we swing? I think so. I think we're the aggressive deck in this situation, even though he has so much out there. So we have an Etch Champion and another Tempered Steel that can come down, and we still have a blocker. Flips it with a Telling Time. Not a bad one for him. That lets him get a token, pump both his Swift Spears, and try to go aggro if he wants to. Problem he has is another Tempered Steel is a lot of damage, and Etch Champion is also pretty excellent. Tilling Time, yep. Bunch of triggers from Swift Spears and Pyromancers. So I guess if he Telling Times for another spell, that could be sort of bad. Throws off our blocking. I don't know if we want to block a Swift Spear anyway. It's actually a hard decision. Somewhere. I'm not sure exactly what we do next turn. Do we block? Probably. We definitely block Young Pyromancer. That seems like the safest bet. That way we don't get completely blown out by Echoing Truth on our Memnites. Okay. So that does bounce 2 Memnites, but the problem is we can cast those for free. We do take a lot of damage, but we also draw an Ornithopter. So Ornithopter, Memnite, I think we're just going to swing with the Frogmite here. No blocks. And then we will tap a Memnite to play Etch Champion. And then we're pretty likely to be able to win next turn. And pretty unlikely to die this turn. Yes, and our opponent realizes that. Sweet. Tempered Steel is a real card. Alright, I'll be back.